I want to grow healthy, nutrient-dense food. I want to eliminate synthetic and caustic inputs, and I want to severely reduce, and maybe even, if I'm lucky, eventually eliminate tillage. And then, if I'm blessed, figure out how to incorporate animals and livestock, and then on top of that, have like a decent quality of life that doesn't drive my wife absolutely mad.
Willie, thank you for having us on your farm.
Yeah,
welcome. Such a pleasure to be here. I would love to hear from you just a little bit about your farm.
Sure. Well, we're sitting in a century barn that's been in my family since around 1905. I would be the 6th generation farmer. We've been in Rock County since about 1848. My focus is really, looking forward and thinking about how we continue to sustain a lifestyle, a way of life, in this landscape that could potentially go on another 6 generations. We have somewhere around 15 identity preserved crops out in the landscape this year. I kind of lose track, but that would be non-GMO soybeans, non-GMO corn, a lot of seed production. We're doing some small grains breeding, like winter barley, winter camelina, soft red winter wheat, candy vegetables, peas, lima beans, snap beans. That's a lot of things. Corn, yeah, it goes on. But I really feel that there is a resilience to having so many spinning plates kind of in the air. You get to mix things up a little bit, keep Mother Nature guessing, and hopefully kind of, as best you can, sidestep some of those feedback loops that, continual monoculture, continual corn and bean production can kind of lead you into.
Why not just grow corn and soy?
Mm-hmm.
Why go to all that trouble?
If I wanted to farm corn and soybeans, I could probably do it from just a cell phone and have the local guy come in and plant it, call him up in the fall, have him harvest it, have the co-op spray it, and I wouldn't need to own a lot. There's some people that don't own any equipment and farm thousands of acres, but I have a real concern and a real belief that the cracks are starting to show in system of food production that is almost 100% reliant on one tool in their toolbox, one hammer to beat the weeds, and that's herbicides. And so if we do that long enough, we have had probably 20 or 30 years of this kind of honeymoon phase where that's been super effective. We've built up this massive food industry around it. We've fed millions and billions of people around the world. But if we just think that Mother Nature isn't going to figure this out, and we're seeing this with resistance, with metabolic resistance, you have all of these other things, the writing on the wall is that
you're speaking about weeds becoming resistant.
Yeah. So we're putting the whole health and safety and food topic aside, and we're talking about efficacy. It's not going to last. So we have to figure something else out, right? I really depend, first and foremost, on a consumer base that's educated and that's passionate and that cares, and then understands that their purchasing decisions make a direct impact on the options that I have. Kernza is a great example. If there are customers, consumers, brands that identify that work, value that, and then give me opportunities to bring it out of the landscape, it changes the calculations.
You mentioned Kernza, which is the pancake mix that we're here to talk about. Now that is a bag of pancake mix made out of Kernza.
Mm-hmm.
Most people have no idea what Kernza is.
Right.
Can you introduce us to what is Kernza? It's got a weird name. It's got a trademark after it. What's going on?
I'll give you the spark notes on it.
Great.
But essentially, there's a gentleman by the name of Wes Jackson who was sort of a agricultural visionary who many years ago founded an institute called the Land Institute out in Kansas. And it was his vision to perennialize the landscape, as he would say. That would be moving our agricultural system from primarily annual production, meaning every year till, plant, cultivate, harvest, to a perennial system where it is a single planting with subsequent years of production.
And why is that an important or an interesting vision?
There's every reason. Every reason you can think of. You look at tillage. It can release carbon into the atmosphere. Anytime you have organic matter that's buried under the soil, you expose it to air, it'll decompose and the greenhouse gases can go up. And then if you start to look at tilling annually, that's looking on a 1 year, that's bad enough. But look at 5, 10, 15 years of tillage. If we can take 5 years out of that equation and put it into a perennial grain like Kernza, then all of a sudden that flips the calculation for me a little bit about what the impact of tillage might have. I think that Kernza is a great tool for organic growers who want to improve their soil structure and improve the health of their farm, reduce erosion, reduce all of the issues that some of the tillage has, because we don't have synthetic herbicides to remove the weeds. We have to figure out how to mechanically remove them. Having an opportunity to put the work that we do in a bag like this and give it to consumers who are value aligned, that is the magic sauce there. That's how we move the needle.
How is Kernza different from wheat?
It has a much deeper root system. We can go out there and find root zone that might extend 20 or 30 feet after a couple of years. So you can imagine
20 or 30 feet down?
Down.
Wow.
So you can imagine.
A tree.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and you can find photos online of this. There are a lot of nitrates, in particular, groundwater nitrate issues in our area. And having more perennial crops, deeper roots that can go down and actually scavenge that and pull it back up before it gets into the water table, that's huge. I mean, we could have used that in the 50s, and we would be better off today had we, developed that technology, understood the impact, and done that.
And this is, how long have you been growing Kernza?
2020 was my first year growing it.
How has it been so far?
It's a challenge. I don't want to lie. It's a challenge. I mean, to be here and to see, the Perennial Promise Growers Cooperative on a bag in my hand, this is pretty awesome, Sam. I mean, this is like a huge thing. There's a lot of work to be done. 10,000 years of annual domesticated grain production, and here we are in the first century of perennialized grain. So we've got an uphill battle, definitely, to figure it out. But it's been amazing to be part of. It's a fun ride, and I just love it. That's the only thing that's keeping me in it. Is it just this kind of stuff drives my passion.
Tell me about the cooperative that you work with that grew this Kernza.
Yeah, so Perennial Promise Growers Cooperative was founded in 2020. And we are a cohort of roughly 35 grower members. Kind of our whole value proposition was supply management, so that someone such as Long Table could feel confident that, here's a group of individuals that can, one way or another, get good marketable product to us consistently. So our hope was to be able to approach these brands and these companies and give them the pitch as to why working directly with family farmers, primarily on the smaller acreage size, that are passionate and that are in this for the right reasons and want to see this crop brought to the landscape to help their farms be more resilient. I think we all thought that was a really compelling message, and I think it has. I mean, it has been. We've had a great reception.
So there's a word that's being thrown around a lot. It's this magical word, regenerative.
Mm-hmm.
What on earth does that mean to you? And what do you have a take on sort of where the movement for regenerative farming is?
Regenerative farming it's a big tent. And there's a lot of approaches which is good. One of the ways it was explained to me by a farmer named Sandy Seiberg was that a regenerative system, an organic system, whatever you want to call it, is like a flywheel, where you get momentum, and that flywheel at some point begins to stabilize and begins to build off of the momentum that you put into it. A conventional system is a gas tank. The gas tank is empty, you put more gas in. You empty it, you put more in. When it's out, it's over.
So to the people that are eating your food, is there anything that you would like them to know that they maybe don't know about your work, or Is there any message that you have an opportunity to say directly to those folks? Or?
I cannot overstate enough the impact and the influence that they have. If they want something done, especially in my industry, they can use their purchasing power to make those changes. Use their voice, use their purchasing power as their voice or their vote at that ballot. Without a market supporting this work, it's just charity work. And that's not the business that I'm in here. I'm in to make a living, to support my family, and to hopefully, continue and to create a compelling vision for the future of agriculture